Okay, so you all may be wondering, why is it important to wear hearing protection? Well, guys, there are many reasons. So now, first off, we're going to start with how do we hear? So we hear through sound waves that enter our ear canal and vibrate the eardrum. After it enters the eardrum, a nerve impulse is carried to the brain, and that's how we end up coming with words. So here's an ear that you guys can pass around and look at. Yeah, it's weird, but when your mom's an audiologist, this is what you get to bring. So what exactly is hearing loss? Well, hearing loss is when one or more parts of the ear do not properly function the way they should. So why is it important? When and where? When, guys, it's always important to wear hearing protection. There's a guy mowing outside in the rain right now. Probably a good idea for him to be wearing hearing protection. The chart that I gave you, the normal hearing for left and right ear is 20. Anything below that, you got an airplane at 120, 110. That's really loud. 120 decibels, guys, that will alter your heart rhythm, and that is dangerous. That is extremely dangerous. So, those of you that listen to music in your car and like to turn it up a lot, yeah, that's bad. Don't do it. Any loud sounds that you think are loud are probably too loud, and you should really turn it down. The song that's playing right now, this is actually explaining or showing the different types of hearing loss, from mild, which is kind of like you can still hear, but it's a little bit different, to you can't hear anything, absolutely nothing. It's crazy. And there are people that sadly live their life like this, and they will never be able to hear anything. An example of when it's important, a truck driver who even window cracked just barely, he will have hearing loss on the left side of his ear, and he will not be able to hear out of it more than likely at all. It's because they're driving down the highway, high speeds, with the window cracked, so you're getting a loud noise in your ear. That just, it doesn't help at all. Where is it important? This is crazy, but it's a little excessive, but common household appliances such as refrigerators, dishwashers, vacuum cleaners, and garbage disposals are loud enough to cause hearing loss. It's crazy to think about that. Common household items, they'll do it to you. Where? Gun range, that's another good place. I have slight hearing loss because of when I shoot. Most of the time I use hearing protection, but there are times that I did not, and I have hearing loss. Occupational noise, so work noise, that's a great place to wear hearing loss. Any sound that exceeds 85 decibels is loud enough. If you listen to it for 8 hours, it will cause hearing loss. If you add 3 decibels to that, so you say 88, you're cutting the time in half to where you can only listen to it for 4 hours and cause more hearing loss. Let's see, the Arrowhead Stadium, they have the loudest decibel record of 142.2. It's a lot. You can, pretty much somebody had the capability of dying that day when they set that record because of their heart rhythm would change, if you think about it. Next I'm going to go to what it's like to have hearing loss. With an interview of Dr. Rochelle Harden, who has been doing this for about 10 years. She explained what it's like for her one of her patients. She said that one of her patients felt very alone and isolated. She felt that the relationship between her and her husband was just diminishing. It was going, she couldn't feel it anymore. It strained her it mentally and physically was taxing on her. The reason of this is because mentally it was harder for her to process information because she had to think more. And physically it made her more exhausted and less active with her family, which we all know that sucks, and you like to get out and do things with your family and friends. Now, how does hearing loss affect you? Hearing loss can affect you in many ways, but I'm just going to focus on a few. The first way it can affect you, it makes you feel more isolated, as if everyone's annoying or ignoring you. But in reality, the person is really only isolating themselves from everybody. Everybody's not isolating. You're not being left out. You think you are because you don't know what everybody's saying. The follow isolation is fatigue. Fatigue wouldn't seem important, but it is. It's more taxing. Like I said earlier, the lady thought she was just being, she had to think more, process, than a normal person would have to. Frustration the person with hearing loss, they are more likely not to able to understand what's being said around them. Therefore, they feel as if everybody's talking bad about them. A good example of this is high school guys, teenage guys. They tend to get more violent and tend to take it out on people if they can't hear what's going on around them or understand. That was given to me by an interview with one of colleagues of Dr. Rochelle Harden by Dr. Mandy Pop. She is as well as an audiologist. She exactly said that the young man can go from very violent to hateful, from very violent and hateful to a very nice and welcoming person. All that is needed is hearing aids. And all that does is it basically amplifies what you can't hear, and it allows you to hear, unless if you have profound, which you can't hear anything. Now, if you weren't paying attention to anything that you missed, going back to why it's important, as well as what it's like, and finally how it can affect you. These are all things that do happen to people. Hearing is a very serious thing that people go through, and if you lose it, you're out of luck. It's a very important thing to have in your life. Take care of it. So now that you know why it's important, wear hearing protection, I hope that you not see the difference, but go out and listen to the difference in the world.